Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and in this video we're going to be talking about The One and Only Ivan, the book, versus the new Disney Plus movie. Here we go. So I really love the book, The One and Only Ivan. It might be in my top 10 Newbery books of all time. It's just such a wonderful book. I love the thematic elements. I love kind of the original idea that's in it, and I like that it's roughly inspired by true events. I was really excited when I found out there was a movie as well, and I had the opportunity to watch it with my daughter just recently. I wanted to talk about some of the differences between the book and the movie, and ultimately which one do I like better. Just so you're aware, this video will have some spoilers, so if you haven't at least read the book or watched the movie, I would make sure that you do one or the other before you watch this video. So right away, I'm going to tell you I enjoyed the book more than the movie. I think you can look at the critical acclaim for either book and the movie and see that probably most people think the same. The book was exceptional. It was an amazing book. The movie was fine. I think my daughter really enjoyed it, and I think it's a good movie, but it's not exceptional. It's not the most amazing movie. It's forgettable, I think, and I think there are quite a number of reasons as to why. We're going to go over a few of them here. To start with, the reason the book sticks out in my mind as so amazing is because we get the opportunity to see ourselves from the eyes of the gorilla, Ivan. The whole book is written from a first person or a first gorilla perspective because we actually get to hear from the narrator, who is Ivan the gorilla, what he thinks about everything in the world. There are striking similes and metaphors told from a gorilla's perspective. The language is simple and really beautiful. The movie, however, relies on building emotion in another way, and this emotion can be very effective. Many movies do this really well, but it relies instead on visual and auditory cues to make us feel what we want to feel. In the book, the way that those emotional things come across is because from someone who's very innocent, very simple, we get to see what humans do and see the way that humans behave, both good and bad. In the movie, instead, it's like we're watching a narrative of a situation. We get to see the story, but we don't get to feel the story in the same way. Now, aside from, of course, the medium, there are several other differences that the movie makes. A major difference I noticed is that in the book, the performance aspect of the Big Top Mall was downplayed. It wasn't an important part of what was going on, apart from the fact they were trying to teach Ruby, the smaller elephant, how to do some tricks. It just wasn't a major part of the book. In the movie, the performance is maybe the central scene for what's going on. Instead of primarily spending our time in Ivan's head with his kind of commentary on what's going on in life, instead we're primarily seeing what's happening through the audience, through the humans in the audience, what's going on with those animals. Again, that perspective shift makes a big difference. Instead of seeing through Ivan's eyes, we get to see through our own eyes. It doesn't invite us to look at ourselves, but instead invites us to look at the mistreatment of the animals. Another major difference is in the characters themselves. In the book, we are quite quickly invited to fall in love with Stella, who, although she's only there briefly, we absolutely love. We love her character, we love her wisdom and her kindness and compassion, and then she dies. We also fall in love with Julia, one of the only humans that we really learn to love. We learn so much about Mac and his life, and the characters are just really fleshed out through the eyes of Ivan. In the movie, we're obviously invited to have compassion for Ivan the gorilla and for Ruby, but it's hard to say exactly why. It isn't because they are such lovable and wonderful characters, but instead it's because they're animals. The creators of the movies rely in some sense on the idea that animals deserve to be loved without showing us that that is something that they're deserving of. Not that that's necessarily something they need to show us, but it does lessen the emotive nature of the movie when we aren't automatically in love with them as characters as well as animals. One more narrative difference between the movie and the book is the movie threw in this scene where the animals all escape from the Big Top Mall for an evening, one night. I'm not really sure why. Maybe they're just trying to build in a little bit extra time. They didn't have enough, actual plot to do it, because the book doesn't rely heavily on plot, instead relies heavily on the thoughts and motivations of Ivan. And so in the movie, they probably had to fill some space. It just felt like a throwaway scene, and I was a little bit confused as to why it was there. The other thing was at the very end of the movie, Ivan kind of paints a mural on the glass of his enclosure, Whereas in the book, Ivan is shown as having pretty advanced intelligence in that he creates this plan to put his painting up over the billboard, and that is what causes kind of the national media attention. My last major difference between the book and the movie, and this is really the one that I think is the most important, is the theme that I felt was loud and resounding throughout the book that I felt like fell really short in the movie. In the book, the theme that I loved so much throughout was this idea that humans are capable of great kindness, they're capable of great love and great beauty, and they're also capable of great evil, sometimes within the same human, within just a few minutes of each other. Mac is the primary example. And I just thought it was beautiful, the way that this theme kind of plays itself out throughout the book. In the movie, they played down, I think, both elements. They played down how beautiful, loving, and kind humans can be, in that we don't get to see much into their motivations in the movie. But even more important, they really played down the evil that humans can commit. Now, of course, part of that is because, it's supposed to be a children's movie and it's going on Disney and all those types of things. I totally understand that. But we miss such an important part of Ivan's story when we don't see that. And I think that is, for me, the biggest difference, is at the end of reading the book, I feel a sense of sadness and a sense of hope at the same time. And I think that's beautiful. In the movie, I just kind of felt good. It was just fine at the end, and I was like, great, that movie's over, and we can move on with our lives. It doesn't drive us to any kind of action or any kind of feeling. It just drives us to watch the next Disney movie, I guess. So these were some of the major differences I noticed between The One and Only Ivan, the book, and the movie. If you enjoyed the book or the movie more, go ahead and let me know in the comments why that is. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, do feel free to like and subscribe, and as always, stay safe out there.